Hello there, and welcome to another Villa Volcano Twitch stream. So this is part of our regular series where we jump on and play Star Wars: The Old Republic so that we can talk about the most recent episode of the current Disney Plus Star Wars show, which at the moment is Andor. So in this stream, we will be talking all the spoilers about the most recent episode of Andor, which was episode 8, Narkina 5. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it. So we're going to be talking about everything that happened in that cool episode very, very shortly.
A complicated night with Tales of the Jedi dropping on Disney Plus at the same time, but we decided that we would talk about each show independently, separately. And having just watched Andor, I think we're both really keen just to have a bit of a chat about it. It was an episode that kind of kept me right on the edge. It felt like we were watching a new series. Everything was sort of happening, and it was really making us feel the way the characters were feeling. And it was really sort of feeling Andor's tension and confusion and stress.
Yeah.
So a really on the edge sort of episode. Very fast moving, some really cool developments, and a little bit frustrating when it ends like that. This is the start of another 3-episode arc. I think it's directed by the same person that directed the first 3 episodes. But yeah, the start of a 3-story arc, and because of that, it's a little bit of a cliffhanger and leaving us wanting a heck of a lot more very soon.
Yeah.
We're going to be running through dailies on the planet Belsavis. The reason we've chosen Belsavis today is because Belsavis got a name drop in that episode of Andor. Belsavis was one of the prison planets people were getting shipped off to, and it is, in fact, a prison planet in the Old Republic era as well.
Yeah, so we don't always know what sort of planet or sort of theme each episode will have, so it was kind of fun that there was an actual planet. While not seen in Andor, it was still fun to sort of hear it mentioned. So haven't done this one in a little while. It used to be one of sort of the original daily area planets way back when level 50 was still the cap. So yeah, very keen to jump in and check out these heroics. So
yeah, it's an original story planet. Looks like we're bolstered down to 45, so it's quite far down the line of in terms of the original story.
Yeah,
we'll run through and we'll just have a bit of chat. Where would you like to start?
Jungle Flight.
Alrighty. So yeah, like I said, that episode just left me feeling really empathizing with Andor's confusion and situation on the whole. And it was a bit of a time jump there, 30 days that he was in prison once he got established. But some really interesting loose ends going on all around the story arc.
Well, some interesting sort of connections, I think. We're seeing a few things kind of crossing paths and sort of connecting up.
Well, absolutely. I mean, first obvious one, it was really cool to see Luthen talking to SWTOR, Guerrero, and seeing his hideout, and was one of the X-Wings sort of painted up in the same decade that I think they had, or pretty close to what they had on Jeddah and Rogue One, and one of the Two Tubes characters.
Yeah, that was fun.
With them.
They go back away.
Very cool seeing an earlier version of Saw Gerrera and seeing Forrest Whitaker sort of interpret that. Sort of, he's still very fanatical and paranoid, I would say.
Yeah. He does not want anybody new to sort of work with
other people's motivations, but not quite as on the edge or over the edge as he was in Rogue One.
But we're sort of seeing that nervousness from just about everyone.
He's the sort of person that would, if you're not fully aligned with him, would make you really nervous. There's a lot of this one.
Oh, is it there? Is it? Oh, cool. Yeah. I didn't notice.
So, Saw Gerrera stood out as a big deal in terms of the story development there. And the conversation that Luthen was having with him was really a vehicle to convey the state of the alliance and to convey Luthen's strategy. He really is. We got a hint of this earlier. He really is not just trying to fight the Empire, but trying to provoke the Empire to make other people fight the Empire. Which is A little bit challenging because it does mean people suffer as a consequence
Yeah.
of making people suffer.
Well, we're
order
seeing
to make
that
them
because,
rebel.
yeah, everyone in the prison system is,
Yeah, had their sentences doubled or tripled or whatever.
yeah.
More multiplied again. Yeah, so that aspect of it I really enjoyed. So we've seen a few more bits from the trailer. I enjoying the intersection of Sewell Khan and the ISB, the intersection of their story arcs.
We'll go do the Engineer's Tale.
Yep. Thought it was. Yeah, it made a lot of sense that he would be pulled in because he's on the paperwork associated with the Phoenix incident.
Yep. Jalari says, love this new episode. What was your favourite part of this one? So I knew that it was going to be sort of one of those ones where we get a little bit more progression, that there isn't going to be a sort of like a big development and stuff like that. I have to say it was kind of surprising to see Andy Serkis showing up. Of course, he is famous for his performance as Gollum in Lord of the Rings, but of course he is also Snoke, the sort of the motion capture and voice of Snoke in the sequel trilogy. So that was really fun to see a Star Wars actor showing up in a different role. I thought he played the role quite well, really stern. And we know that it's kind of interesting because we know that Cassian has to break out somehow. But we don't know by what means, and who is he going to get help? Is there going to be sort of like a mass breakout? Is there going to be a couple of them that band together?
He can't serve out his time because his sentence isn't compatible with the known story.
Yeah, plus that would just make for a slightly uninteresting series if it's just him sort of coping in jail for some years.
There's a lot going on in that. There's really a lot going on in that prison system. People being pushed to the edge. People just trying to survive, people trying to actually do the work and survive by doing the work. They drew attention to a lot of little things like the insulated boots where they were stored. They drew attention to other people's actions, which was really interesting. I'm not sure where that's going. They drew attention to people who looked a little bit on edge, and they talked to people communicating with sign language with others.
I think I missed the first one over here.
A few candidates for collaborators for an escape.
Yeah, there was one specific character that was basically doing sign language to another tunnel.
I think he was on Cassian's table as well.
Yeah.
That guy. But the other obvious one is Melshi from Rogue One is on Cassian's table. So he's one of the... He's got quite a backstory in terms of the expanded universe. He's actually responsible for the recovery of Jyn Erso. On Wabani, but he was visible on Scarif later on in Rogue One, that team. And it's the same actor, so that's very cool. Yeah,
so I get the feeling that they will probably make it off together. It would be unusual to bring in a named character like that and then not have them be involved.
Well, he's got, like I say, quite a role in the Rebel Alliance. So Melshi's story actually needs to be on the other side of the prison fence.
Yeah, as well.
He can't sit around in prison because his story won't develop in time for Rogue One either.
Yeah. Okay, let's go do our lessons learned. So yeah, it was really interesting. I thought we might get a hint of what they're building on this factory.
Yeah, it's so vague. But I think it's intentionally vague. I'm not even convinced that Andor knows. All they know is that they're a cog in a machine. And that's all they're supposed to know.
Yeah. The noise kind of made me think, are they building like K2SO type droids? And then the sort of shape of it, I'm like, are these like bits for TIE fighters? Like, the attachment points of the wings or something? I'm sure somebody will be doing or it just could just be completely made up nonsense that's just supposed to be generic factory work.
Intentionally sort of.
Yeah.
Backbreaking or soul breaking.
I feel like it would be fun though if they made it something that's kind of a bit of an Easter egg, whether we find out in the future or it's just there for sort of eagle-eyed fans. I think it would be fun if it is, something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see all sorts of sort of ways that they keep them contained. And Cassian is really quiet this whole episode. He doesn't say much, but he looks really like he's trying to take everything in. He's very quiet, and he's sort of moving.
He's observing people.
Yeah.
Like that incident with one of the guards was late. Before he was taken down to the factory floor, he was I don't know. So that's assessing their routine. Would be important in an escape, knowing where people come from, what their time schedules and timelines are.
Yeah. He looked like he was possibly trying to just sort of appear bewildered. Yeah. So just so he could move a little slowly and considered and sort of really take in everything around him. I'm sure there was a bit of just genuine sort of just shock. He kind of just seems to be in shock because, you know, he had his life made. He was on a resort planet with a huge cache of credits.
That's the other significant thing. He just went straight to jail, did not pass go, so his funds, his assets
are hidden in a shower in some random
place. Yeah.
We don't know. I don't know whether we picked up whether that was a hotel or an apartment. Was he staying at? Was that an apartment that belonged to him or the woman he was with at the time? You know, will that just like get found and used? You know, will the woman he was with just like, oh, he's not coming back, I guess this is mine now. So whether he has any sort of ability to reclaim that in the future, I guess that'll be up, but then it may not matter if he gets drawn into the Rebel Alliance. Then I guess our personal gain won't be quite as important to his worldview.
I think at least the first half of the episode was just a rapid interchange between Andor's stressful situation and the luxury of Coruscant.
Yeah.
An intentional juxtaposition. Just sort of flicking back and forwards to his prison system, the threat of imminent threat of electrocution and stun prods.
Yeah, they looked like it looked quite brutal. The sort of the distorting effect that the sort of that high electrocution, I guess, when they're sort of being fried when they arrive. It looks quite genuinely painful. That sort of really hones in on how desperate they must be to choose that as a method of suicide.
Yeah.
Later on.
I wasn't quite sure of the significance in terms of plot about when the other inmates were asking him what he knew about what was going on the outside, and he was either legitimately confused or playing dumb.
Because he knows about that. She said it used to be and they talked about it in front of him. So I was kind of surprised that I guess he just doesn't want to, I don't know, look like he knows
to be associated with Aldani. I think that's reasonably clear. Where should we go?
We'll do the tyrant. Yeah, I guess he's just trying to just lay low and not have kind of any kind of attention or sort of information.
It's better for him in all regards, and he doesn't need to be associated with the rebellion at this point. Yeah.
Though when people started talking about it, we could see that there were a few of the inmates that had you could see that they were bringing up some strong opinions about either the rebels or the Empire, which I dare say we'll get a little bit more of that later on as well. It'll be, I don't know, I guess pro-rebels that will band together because they trust each other. Because it is a prison system. You don't necessarily have to be for or against the Empire to sort of face their face their wrath.
Criminals, not just people sentenced, but people deserving sentences there as well. I mean, just talking about the tension and the people in the prison, I was sure something was going to go wrong on their table at some point.
I know. I was either somebody was going to get shocked or somebody was going to get like their hand jammed, because they kept just sort of like putting their hands up going clear, and I'm like, oh man, somebody's going to get their hand jammed in something.
I'm worried about the older guy.
Yes, he seemed to be,
a little bit less capable.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those sort of anxiety-inducing situations, which is good storytelling, because we're supposed to feel as anxious as Cassian. Go down the side here, and then, like you say, the juxtaposition with the elite on Coruscant. We saw a little bit of the sort of Chandrilla banker.
Yeah.
But no sort of
story development.
No, not there.
Just revisiting his presence. Well, I guess the statement that he was spending more time on Coruscant maybe.
Yeah. He's trying to sort of bed down the story that he's going to be working a lot with her, and
yeah, but he's having trouble doing that. He says the banking regulations are making it complicated for him.
Yeah. That even those that are sort of in the elite are feeling the effects of what the Empire's trying to do.
And the other thing from that, those sets of scenes that was significant, was the revelation that Mon Mothma's been married since she was 15.
Yeah.
Without necessarily saying that it was. They talk a lot about the old customs.
Yes.
Of Chandrilla.
Yeah.
They still followed, so I'm almost wondering if it was an arranged or expected, if not arranged, at least expected wedding between them because of their family status or something.
Yeah, and clearly their worldview and life paths have not exactly aligned in that time since. No. She's very dedicated to her cause, and he is less so.
Yeah, he likes the high life and the comfortable life.
Yeah. But yes, interesting that we got confirmation that he is from her home world as well. Wasn't sure if he was sort of somebody she met on Coruscant and sort of has a different worldview because of that upbringing. But yeah, I love the sets and stuff like that in those scenes, but I feel like there's some sort of scene setting that went on there that I think we're going to get more of a payoff later. They were sort of quieter scenes, and I know Mon Mothma is going to be really important going forward. So I'm really curious to see where that's going to go. We'll go to OpenCom. And then I really enjoyed the tension between Cyril Khan and the ISB agent, seeing them cross over.
I enjoyed it as well. I thought for a moment he was going to get a bit more of a break, but that would be a little too easy. I mean, you can't just join the ISB. You need to be recruited and go through training.
Yeah, well, even she was brought in from, I can't remember what it was exactly, the Trooper Division or something like that. Yeah, that she had to work in as, that they, the Empire is all about status, and they're very much on, you have to earn your place. You start at the bottom and you work your way up. Yeah. They do not appreciate people trying to get there the fast way.
I don't think Cyril Khan's story's over yet because it was unsatisfying from his point of view. He's bitter. It was fun to see how he was abusing his access to data. In order to
lying. That he's so, like, you think he would, like, I thought that he would be the sort of person that would just be doing everything exactly by the book. But she was, like, accusing him of making, false reports and stuff by, like...
Straight up was. Yeah. He was hunting for someone, problems related to fuel efficiency or purity, which is his singular domain, which is pretty restrictive. So.
Yeah. He's taking any opportunity to try and sort of hunt down, and obviously caught the attention of her because of the Ferrex incident. But yeah, I thought it was really funny the way that he was he got really quite sort of snarky and sort of almost demanding. He's like, you need me, I've got information. And she was just like, basically like...
Yeah, she's got a plan and she's sticking to it. My only hope is that she sees... Because she almost couldn't believe that somebody would be only motivated for the good of the Empire or the people.
Yeah.
She expected him to be self-serving, or she didn't, was questioning his angle.
Yeah.
My only hope is that along the way, if their interactions persist, that she sees him as being like, it's weird. It's a little bit weird rooting for the people that are hunting
Empire?
out Andor.
Yeah.
While simultaneously wanting Andor to escape.
Yeah, but good villains are like that, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like she is a villain, essentially. You know, if we're thinking of this being a rebel story.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over here for the lockbox.
Okay, but I do hope that she sees that SWTOR is motivated in the same way that she is, and that they become stronger allies.
Yeah.
In some way.
But yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and her sort of speech at the sort of meeting.
Yeah, with Yularen.
Yeah,
she's in a way that her immediate supervisor was kind of
standing up for her,
taking it in. Well, he stood up for her directly, but he's also just observing, taking in her actions.
Don't click on it.
No, I need the lockbox.
Oh, sorry.
I think he was keen to see her progress. He was hopeful that it would pan out in her favour.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that she's actually like, the others are all kind of like, oh, this is all just overreaching and you're just trying to get like a whole lot of resources and stuff like that. But as the viewer, we know she's right. She stumbled onto it with intuition or just sort of dumb luck. That Luthen Rail, whose name they don't know at this point, is sort of a connecting pin between a lot of rebel factions.
Yeah. So the other things, let's travel. The other things to talk about was the fact that everyone's on Ferrix now. We saw Bix looking after Andor's mother. We saw that both Val and Cinta are on Ferrix, and they're aware of Bix.
Well, I think Val, we saw her on a transport, yes.
At the end they were separated, but for a time they were there, trying to track down Andor.
And we saw that Cinta is sort of prioritizing her sort of fire against the Empire over her personal relationship.
Yeah.
We see sort of just how sort of devoted she is. Yeah.
I was worried for, I don't know where Andor's mother's
yeah, I don't know. I like her. And she's taking risks.
Yeah.
With both her sort of safety and her health. You know, they talked about her sort of trying to get in under the Imperial building.
Yeah.
Seeing if she can sort of, if there's an access point for sabotage, which is fairly brazen. I guess at this point she's just like, well, if I'm going to die, I may as well do something. But that does put her at risk.
Kind of struck me as how brutal Luthen is in terms of using people and rebel cells as assets. I mean, he basically shut down comms from Ferrix in order to minimize exposure,
but
I guess.
Was that call what drew attention to the shop? Because she was like, I need to go out the back, and now they're...
At the time she was doing it, I was sure that it was risky, that the resident Imperials would have better
sort of monitoring equipment,
than
and it looks like that apprehension about that line is true.
Yeah.
Because they have figured it out. And I'm guessing that because she worked there, or perhaps because the shop owner sort of gave her name up during interrogation, because they were getting the sun when she ran from the stormtroopers, which was kind of fun seeing stormtroopers a little bit more prominently. They haven't been very heavy-handed with the stormtroopers. We get glimpses of them.
We've had more shore troopers in the last few episodes.
And a lot of fun sort of different Imperial outfits in this episode too. On this sort of different ones. We had these sort of silver stripes with the big boots. I'm sure it'll be fun. People try and sort of figure out what those boots are based off. If there's some sort of work boot that people can use for costumes.
yeah, so just talking about lethal now, I jumped away from that a second. Did you spot any other Easter eggs on this store?
Yeah, I'll have to go through and pause it and stuff like that, but there's definitely a headpiece that very, very much looks like the one that Padme wears as a peasant disguise when she returns to Naboo in episode 2, which is actually, I don't know if it is currently for sale, but was available for sale from the Disney parks, the Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they know that fans would recognize it. Obviously, Padme fans will recognize that as being part of her costume. I assume it's supposed, like, because she's a peasant, it's not necessarily a crown. It doesn't necessarily have to be Padme's one. It would be like some sort of, sort of peasant attire.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I assume has some sort of Naboo design element behind it. But yeah, I thought that was really fun. Definitely some cool things in his shop. I'm always excited when we get a few more glimpses to his store. And interesting to see that his partner in the store is being really sort of
their relationship and their power dynamic is still interesting. I think an player.
I'd love to know more about her, and I'm hoping we do get that opportunity because she's very central. She's very stern.
Yeah,
very, rightly so. But yeah,
the development of the relationship between them is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Because I want to know whether this is a job he is using to sort of, like, he was like in this position and found that he could use it to help the Empire, or this is a completely sort of fabricated front that the two of them, or perhaps him by himself and then joined her, sort of, a complete front, or whether it was a legitimate business before it started to become a front. But yeah, whether or not we know these things, I always hope we get like extra books or just a little bit of backstory. Perhaps they'll give us some sort of visual guide, printed material down the line. That would be cool.
Yeah, well, because this one is just 2 seasons and then it's done and dusted, I think there's a reasonable chance. The reason they've parked some of the behind the scenes material for Mandalorian is because of the rate at which it's developing, and the rate at which so this one here getting maybe more likely to get some nice visual dictionary type material.
Yeah. So, shall we go do another planet?
At this point,
we do a quick circle run.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to say. I think because at this point,
I was just going to run out the door.
As I implied at the start, our plan is to have a bit of chat about Andor. We've still got a couple of things to touch on, and then we're going to go watch Tales of the Jedi. And may I probably going to stream after that? Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I like just sort of getting our thoughts through.
Yeah, it's that. I mean, that's going to be a big deal. So let's run through Zerka just to make sure we've spent enough time here.
Yeah.
And Zerka does relate to the Galactic seasons that are running in game right now, so we get extra benefit from doing that.
And it's one of those ones that we know like the back of our hand, so we can keep talking. Just trying to sort of run through
the scenes.
Yeah.
The planet that the prison's on is interesting. The factories look like they go down effectively under the water.
Yeah. I thought that was fun. I don't know if it's an established planet or not. I'll have to look that up. Or if this is a new sort of invention.
Yeah. And there's something weirdly sinister about the doorless jail cells.
Yeah.
And the threat of the electric floor. I don't know,
yeah.
It's kind of taunting to have no door on
well,
the cell,
I think the Empire knows that if somebody's feeling like, I think like Andy Serkis's character was like, if you don't have sort of hope or you sort of like keep it to yourself, they know that if people are feeling weak physically or mentally, it's better for the Empire if they can be replaced. So I think that they give them like an out, because then they can replace them because there's going to be like no shortage of prisoners, then they can replace them with somebody and kind of just have a high turnover rate, as it were. You know, they burn them out and then they replace them with new inmates, and the really determined people will work the hardest to stay at the top of the pile so that they get, as they said, the food with taste. You know, they get some sort of, you know, there's a competition structure, so there's an incentive for them to do well. And I think that just sort of goes to show just how sort of, ruthless the Empire is. I mean, not that we need yet more examples, but, you know, sort of for our heroes to see sort of an in-your-face example of the Empire's attitude towards inmates and just people that are not in the Empire. It's basically, if you're in the Empire, they trust you. If you're not in the Empire, then the only sort of surefire way that they know who you are is if they've got you in jail. That way you can't rise up against them.
I wonder what's going to happen to Andy Serkis's character.
I'm curious about that.
He's protective of his role.
And he's only got...
He's down to less than a year.
He said 249 days, and then we skip forward 30 days. Yeah. So I don't know if we'll experience more time jumps.
He doesn't want to jeopardize that. So
yeah. And he's certainly earned a position that's slightly above the sort of the grunt workers. So, I don't know if, you know, what the sort of circumstances are for people when they finish their term. If the Empire gives them anything.
I doubt it. I think it's just a wonder only.
Yeah. But yeah, there's gonna have to be a breakout of some description, but then it's sort of like we've seen sort of other sort of sci-fi prison breakouts where it's like in space or whatnot, so you can't just like run. This one is in the middle of water, so it's not like, you know, you've got to get to something and then get off world as well. You can't just sort of run home or whatever, or go catch a bus or something. So it'll be really interesting because that's going to be two-pronged. So he's either going to have outside help, or they're going to like commandeer an Imperial shuttle, like, or something is going to like to be able to get off world.
And at some point, I guess the way the story is going to have to plan out is that the rebel, either he's going to go to the Rebel Alliance or they're going to go to him, and they're no longer going to want to be killing him. They're going to need him somehow.
Yeah. Do you think that's what they're trying to do? That they want to kill him at this point?
Yeah,
that's like basically Galen Erso.
Yep.
That they're a liability to the Rebel Alliance, and they want him sort of found and tucked away. Which is ruthless, but I guess they know he's not loyal to the cause. He was a tool to them, and they are a bit scared the fact that he's just out there knowing about the.
A lot of things that Luthen's saying is that he recruited Andor because Aldani had to work. It was all or nothing, but he is almost regretting it because. He's almost regretting it because he's become a loose end.
Yeah.
So same faction attacking. Fast then.
Yep.
People on our back.
So this episode is still one of those ones where you don't know, with the exception of a few people, how this is going to play out. And based on the known directors, do you think we'll see a prison break in the next episode, or do you think we'll see another sort of build-up episode before we get to the prison break? There's 12 episodes?
Yeah, that was 8.
8, so you think...
2 more in the story arc, and then a story arc of 2 alone. I don't... Unless they draw the focus away from Cassian, I don't know that they can spend 2 whole more episodes just of him doing prison things.
Yeah, But it would be like,
there's lots
I
of
don't
other
know,
things going on though.
too fast if he just broke out. You know, like it has to be a feat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the planning may start and then the execution may take place in the third episode, so episode 10.
And I'm still fascinated to know what Mon Mothma's sort of story path is going to take as well. We're getting sort of little glimpses into her life and what she's trying to do, but at some point she's going to get drawn in more. And I'm still hoping for a Senate scene with Palpatine. I still need 4 more. Huh?
Oh yeah. 4 more.
I enjoyed seeing Ferrix again. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And seeing the sort of the friends and seeing that even though their lives are not great since Cassian's activities, they are looking after his mother, sort of caring about her, which I really liked, that she's just the sort of person that people care about.
I don't know if that's because of her or because of Andor.
Yeah.
We haven't actually seen Andor, apart from seeing him do a lot to earn his loyalty.
He seemed like he was always sort of getting favors. I mean, he did pay them back. He left enough money to pay off the financial debt, but it looks like he called in a lot of favors. Sort of like, I'll owe you this and like cover for me and, you know, like tell lies and that sort of stuff, you know, that was always to his benefit.
Yeah.
But we know he's resourceful. So it'll be interesting to see if a breakout attempt is instigated and planned by him, or he kind of stumbles across it, you know, like being in the same cell as somebody that's plotting, and he's like, oh, okay, let's go with this.
Well, because that's always a good opportunity if someone else is trying to, even if you're not fully following that plan, it's a diversion that just makes things happen.
Yeah.
In terms of,
he's watching everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like
something going on.
He's got a strong desire to get out back into the world. He had a strong desire to run away. He could have met back up with Luthen Rail. Perhaps he's suspected Luthen would want to wrap up a loose end and didn't want to connect or give him the opportunity to get rid of him.
He's operating fully and consistently under a pseudonym.
Yeah. Because at this point, the Empire and Cyril Khan are looking for him, but because he's been arrested under a fake name, no one's put 2 and 2 together yet.
I need to run this one again because the face is favouring you only.
Yep. So I do wonder how, will his face show up because there'd be alert that there's been a prison break? So there'll be sort of an alert, look out for this guy. Or is somebody gonna make a match on some sort of arrest record and go, actually that's not his name, that's Cassian.
Yeah.
Because the description of the episode sort of mentioned the fact like the Empire doesn't know that they've actually arrested him.
They used a lot of techno-babble and buzzwords when Supervisor Mira, high-speed Mira, was describing what she needed to hunt him down.
Yeah.
So it kind of implied that they've got all sorts of intelligence infrastructure that they can bring to bear to root out this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe there's facial recognition capability in there.
Yeah. They'll put 2 and 2 together. Ah, that was me this time.
Okay.
Ye olde the twin saber throw. Gets him every time. Got your goo?
Yep, I'm all done.
Cool.
Well, it would be a bit short if we wrap things up now, but we will stream again.
Yeah.
In about 1 hour's time, so it might play out that way.
Jalari says, did you spot anything new in Luthen's shop? Always looking for Easter eggs in that store, haha. Yes, the Padme headdress. I wanted to take a closer look at the sort of the fossil that he's sort of putting on a stand. Yeah. It had some sort of shard shapes, but I really wanted to see that one. Really look at things closer, like slow-mo. I'm sure somebody will do some really good IDs from that as well.
There's definitely things that have been discussed in the past that stand out more in some episodes than others. Like in this episode, the Gungan force shield, energy shield, was more visible.
Yeah.
I saw that once or twice. And the holocrons are in the same place on the back shelf.
Yeah.
On an ongoing basis. So, yeah, like I say, let's quickly watch Tales of the Jedi and then return to the stream to talk specifically about that.
Yeah.
We'll jump up and park these guys. And we'll talk about Tales of the Jedi, and there's a chance, depending on how chat pans out, that we'll circle back around and talk about Andor again as well.
Yeah. But thanks to everyone that joined us. Hope you're enjoying this Andor as much as we are. Be sure to follow us on Twitch, and you can catch archives of our SWTOR streams where we chat about stuff over on our YouTube channel. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Take it easy. See you next time.
If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like, check out our other videos, and subscribe for alerts about new uploads. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.